everyone, this is Colleen Lemma, Starseed Astrologer and Spiritual Messenger with SacredSoulEmpowerment.com, here to do your weekly angel card reading for Monday, March 21st through Sunday, March 27th, 2016. We have a really busy week and a really powerful week ahead of us astrologically, so when I was meditating and shuffling cards, I did decide to go ahead and pull the 3 cards for the main part of our reading ahead of time because, again, we had so much to discuss. Now, for this week's weekly reading, we're going to be using the Syrian Starseed Tarot by Patricia Corey and Alyssa Bartha. And for your special message card this week, we're going to pull that card from the Angel Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue. So let's talk about your 3 stones of choice for your special message card before we get into the weekly message as far as the astrology. I chose some really big stones this week because we have a full moon lunar eclipse that we're going to be talking about. So your first stone of choice is celestite. Now, this is a beautiful light blue stone. This is actually a celestite cluster, and it's really super heavy. But the blue of the celestite is going to vibrate to the throat chakra, so it's going to help with clear communication, communicating honestly and with compassion. And it's also going to vibrate to the third eye chakra. Even though this is a light blue color, we normally think of the third eye chakra as an indigo blue color. This is actually a stone that helps you to get in clairvoyant abilities as well as the angelic realm. So it's really good for getting in touch with the angels. The second stone of choice, and I had to lay the second and third stone down so that you could actually see the cards behind, but this is a very large clear crystal point. It's actually what's called a record keeper. And the reason why it's called a record keeper is that on some of these edges here, as I turn the clear quartz around here, there's edges or ridges here in the sides or faces of this particular quartz stone. And when you have those ridges, it usually means that it's encoded with some sort of information, some sort of ancient information. Ancient regarding the civilizations on the planet long ago, or information from a higher realm that we need to know for our evolution and growth. So in using this stone, if you were to meditate with this stone, excuse me, you can actually get in touch with some of that coded ancient information that's within here. But the clear quartz is an amplifier of energy, so it's going to amplify whatever your intention is that you're meditating on. Okay, and then the third stone of choice, this is also very large if it were to actually stand up, but this is mahogany obsidian. I guess I shouldn't bring it that close to the cameras or you're not going to be able to see it all. But this is a form of obsidian, and normally when we think of obsidian, we think of black stone. And the mahogany obsidian is a brown stone with black in it. So it's a little less intense than the obsidian by itself, but the mahogany obsidian, because it's the brown and with the black in it, it's going to help to ground your energy. So if you're feeling overly anxious, a lot of nervousness, or confusion, this is going to help to anchor you. This is going to help to ground you. It's going to help you to give you kind of a clear focus or clear direction on your path if things seem a little bit, again, scattered or chaotic. So again, your stones of choice are the celestite cluster, the clear quartz crystal point, or the mahogany obsidian. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the astrology for the week. Now, we're going to start with Monday the 21st, but I just want to also remind you that on Sunday the 20th, yesterday, we actually had the spring equinox or the vernal equinox, which means the sun went into the sign of Aries. And Aries is a sign of new beginnings. It's the first sign of the zodiac. So it's really helping us to begin anew and to have a more clear direction, and it's about having a fresh start, and that comes with the springtime energies. In spring, the trees come alive again, the grass comes alive, the flowers, everything is kind of born anew. And that's what the Aries energy is all about, being the first sign of the zodiac, the start of the astrological wheel. It's about things being born anew. So on Monday, March 21st, we have Mercury, the planet of communication and our thoughts, going into Aries as well. So now both the Sun and Mercury are in this sign of new beginnings. So it's a beginning of a new thought, a beginning of a new way of thinking. And things aren't going to seem, or they shouldn't seem, as confusing as, when the Sun was in Pisces and Mercury was in Pisces. It's a very elusive energy, that Pisces energy. But now as we're moving into Aries, which is a fire sign, which is full of energy and inspiration and movement forward, this should really help us to actually have some clarity in where we're going. Now, Mercury is going to be in Aries from the 21st of March through April 5th. So you have a little while to actually enjoy this kind of initiation energy. Then as we go to Wednesday the 23rd, we start out on Wednesday with Jupiter in Virgo, and it's making a challenging aspect to Saturn in Sagittarius. Now, first of all, I want to say that Saturn in Sagittarius is slowing down to turn retrograde. It's actually going to go retrograde this week, a little bit later in the week. But Jupiter and Saturn being in this challenging aspect, their energies kind of oppose one another, or they're very opposite from one another anyway. The interesting thing about this is that Jupiter is in a sign right now that it's not comfortable in, and Saturn is sort of in a sign that it's not comfortable in. So let me explain that. Jupiter is actually a planet that deals with expansion energies, and it likes to make things bigger. It's in the sign of Virgo right now, which kind of wants to look at the small details and kind of, dig down and look at the little things. So it's already kind of in an uncomfortable spot. Now Saturn, the planet Saturn by itself, is a planet of limitation or restriction. It's a planet of lessons. It's a planet that rules time, third dimensional time, so it's pretty, slow moving as far as the energy is concerned. Now, it is in the sign of Sagittarius, which interestingly enough is the sign that Jupiter naturally rules. So Sagittarius is about, expansion and looking at the big picture and looking off in the far off future. And here Saturn is kind of restricting that or limiting that. Now, Sagittarius is also about our belief systems. So as Saturn is moving through Sagittarius, we're finding that there's a lot of people's belief systems that are clashing right now, or people having certain opinions about certain things. Now on Wednesday, with Jupiter in its uncomfortable Virgo placement and Saturn in its sort of uncomfortable Sagittarius placement, and they're in a square aspect, which is challenging, it might get this little kind of push-pull energy. Do we expand? Do we contract? Do we go within? Do we kind of put our energy outward? And so there's a little bit of a confusing energy with that. Now, also on Wednesday, this is when we have our full moon lunar eclipse. And the full moon lunar eclipse is at 3 degrees of Libra. Libra is a sign of balance and harmony and equality and compromise and diplomacy. It's also the sign of partnerships and relationships. Now, a full moon always amplifies an energy anyway. When the moon gets more and more full, it increases the intensity of whatever sign's energy it is in. But we also have it being a lunar eclipse, and that lunar eclipse is going to make it even more powerful and even more intense, and it's going to make the effects even more long-lasting than what a regular full moon might be. Now, there's no set placement of time as far as how long a full moon is actually in effect. But I will say with the full moon lunar eclipse, the effects of a lunar eclipse or a solar eclipse like we had 2 weeks ago when we had the new moon solar eclipse, these effects can be long-lasting as far as weeks and even a few months. So just because we had the new moon solar eclipse and now the full moon lunar eclipse in this month of March, we're going to actually feel it as a domino effect of energy as we move into April and May and so forth. Also on Wednesday the 23rd, the Sun comes together and joins up with Mercury. So now the Sun, which is in Aries, comes together with Mercury, which is in Aries, which is a kind of lighting up that powerful energy of new beginnings of Aries. So again, Aries is a fire sign, and it's the initiation of that energy. The sun likes to shine its light upon that energy, and Mercury is thinking about that energy. So it's really a wonderful, powerful energy. Now, as we move into Thursday the 24th, Mercury in Aries is in a positive, harmonious aspect with Mars in Sagittarius. Mars in Sagittarius. Mars is a fire planet. Sagittarius is a fire sign. So we got a lot of fire momentum going here, a lot of energy, a lot of intensity, which I feel is good. I'm excited about that because with the fire intensity energy, it actually helps with movement, forward movement, whereas things may have been moving a little bit slowly and not really clear. Now we're going to come into some more clarity and especially some more movement so that we're taking steps, we're taking actions towards our goals, in our projects, and in other aspects of our lives. Things are starting to move forward. Now, interestingly enough, Friday the 25th is when Saturn goes retrograde, and it goes retrograde at 16 degrees of Sagittarius. Also on that day, there's a couple of other things going on. Venus is in the sign of Pisces right now, and it's opposing Jupiter in Virgo on Friday. Also on Friday, Venus is in a challenging aspect or a square aspect to Saturn. So we actually have this, what's called a T-square effect with Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn going on. And they're all in mutable signs, and mutable means changeable. Mutable means that it's not stable or secure, that things can change and be redirected very easily. And the fact that Saturn is going retrograde that day, and of course we're going to be seeing and feeling the effects of that all week, so it's not just going to be on Friday. We're going to be feeling that Saturn slowing down, getting ready to turn retrograde, and it's going to pull the energies within and have them operate more on a deep personal level rather than in the outer world. Saturn retrograde is going to operate on our inner world. So this is about us learning lessons within ourselves regarding optimism, expansion, our belief systems, travel, journeys, what the big picture of our lives is all about. So I think we're going to, especially with our belief systems, we're going to be really kind of learning some particular lessons, because Saturn is about lessons, regarding our belief systems and how they affect us personally, how they affect us on an internal level. And then again, with Venus opposing Jupiter and squaring Saturn, this may actually bring up some things in regards to relationships, because Venus is the planet of relationships. We might have some critical or judgmental thoughts about it. We might be dealing with some confusing energies and not knowing what to do or what decision we need to make in a particular circumstance. We may feel a little bit restricted in our energies with Venus squaring Saturn. So we're feeling like we want to maybe protect ourselves or pull back our energies with that aspect. On Saturday the 26th, we have the Sun, which is in now a positive beneficial aspect to Mars. So back on Thursday, remember we had Mercury in Aries trining Mars in Sagittarius. Now we have the Sun in Aries trining Mars in Sagittarius on Saturday. So again, really good for highlighting whatever steps we're taking, whatever forward movement. I feel like this can really kind of bring in, I don't know if I want to say so much unexpected circumstances or occurrences, but I feel like there's a lot of good things that are happening on some level as far as you pushing forward with projects and career and creative things and just having more energy physically, feeling a little bit brighter and more optimistic perhaps. So, there really is kind of what do I want to say? There's a balance of a lot of positive, harmonious things going on this week astrologically, but there's also a couple of things to where it's having us take a look at, especially our belief systems, with Jupiter squaring Saturn on Wednesday, with the full moon lunar eclipse, and then with Saturn retrograde on Friday, with that T-square with Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn. It's really highlighting what it is that we think about ourselves, Do we think we're worthy? Do we believe in our truth? Do we believe in what we're doing? Do we believe in our career path? Do we believe in our relationships? You know, whatever it might be, it's about our belief systems that are being a little bit challenged in some way, shape, or form. So that was a lot about the astrology. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first card for this week's reading and see what the angels and our guides have to say. Wow, okay, we start out with Major Arcana number 14. In this deck, it's called Alchemy. Now, this is in the regular tarot deck. The 14th Major Arcana is Temperance, and Temperance is about balance. Now, it's interesting because I said there's going to be a little bit of a balance of this fiery, creative, forward-moving energy with this needing to look within and kind of feeling in certain ways within ourselves a little bit stagnated or challenged. So that's where some of the balance is. The other thing that brings in the balance aspect is the fact that the full moon lunar eclipse is in the sign of Libra, which is the sign of balance and partnerships. Now, the alchemy card, if you look at this, if you look at the imagery here, I mean, we have this fire of transformation down here at the bottom, and there's this kind of a orb, and the orb is kind of a murky, reddish brown sort of color. But the fire is helping to transform it, and that's kind of what alchemy is about. Alchemy is about transforming something from one level into a higher level, or transforming something in whatever its various form is into a different form, sort of like turning lead into gold. That would be alchemy. The process of alchemy is transforming one substance into another. So we start out the week knowing that this week is going to be about transforming something in our lives, or something that we hold in our mind or in our thoughts and our beliefs, or maybe even transforming, again, a project or our career in some way. We're really bringing that fire energy of the Sagittarius planets and the Aries planets that are happening this week. We're using that fire to transform something in our lives. Let's take a look at the second, if it gives us any more kind of clarity or addition to the story here. Okay, interesting. Now we have more fire here, the Eight of Flames. The flames in this deck is the fire suit. And whenever we have the Eight of Flames or Eight of Fire, we're talking about fast-moving energy. This is quick, fast movement. This is things happening at a very fast pace. Here we have kind of a circle or a wreath of light. We have 8 arrows that are all surrounding the flame. You know, it reminds me of the Wheel of Fortune in a way, you know, with that round kind of circle or orb of light. And the Wheel of Fortune is about something that's turning, some sort of karma shift. And that can really be the full moon lunar eclipse too. It can really rebalance, because it's in Libra. It can rebalance something in our lives without us even trying, without us focusing on it. It's kind of like if the karmic scales are unbalanced, the full moon lunar eclipse and some of the other energies that we're experiencing, Saturn retrograde, are going to help to rebalance those energies. And it's going to be fast, it's going to be quick, it might be unexpected, it might be something that we're not trying to do or looking to do, but it's just going to happen. Now again, this can be a very positive forward movement. So movement way. However, if you're holding on to something that's no longer in your highest and best interests, or something that you've outgrown, or that's not in alignment with your truth anymore, this could be fast movement unexpectedly away from that. So it's like universe stepping in to say, okay, we're gonna, between the alchemy card here and the Eight of Flames here, some of this may be outside of your control, so to speak, which I don't want that to sound scary, because I think it's a great thing. I'm ready for fast forward movement. I'm ready for things to start happening here. And so let's see what the third card is. Let's see if we have this fire theme continue. Now we have a water card, okay? This is a chalice card, which in this deck is water, and it's the Adept of Chalices. Now, in this deck, the Adept is the Knight. So this is the Knight of Water, or the Knight of Cups. Now, this can be about relationships, because the Court cards, the Page, The Queen and the King can often signify other people in our lives, but it can also be qualities within ourselves. So it's interesting that we had two kind of fiery cards, even though, you know, the Alchemy card is a major arcana. And here we have a water card. Here we're talking about our emotions and our feelings. And with the Adept being the Knight, it's not a fully mature energy yet. The Knight is kind of, it's not totally immature, but it's not totally mature and grounded and stable either. And if you look at the imagery, it really kind of tells you. Here we have kind of this tidal wave in the ocean of energy. And we have this person down here that looks like he's kind of flailing around or fighting to stay, you know, above the water or swim. His face is actually face down in the water. His arm is over here like he's trying to stay afloat. And this wave of emotion, this wave of feelings is going to come down around him. Now, this doesn't have to be negative, but I do feel like it's emotional. I do feel like with this card, we're talking about some of that lunar eclipse energy at 3 degrees of Libra, the partnership relationship sign. And even though it happens on Wednesday, again, that energy is going to last for quite a few weeks, to where there's changes that are going to be happening in our relationships, changes that are going to be happening with our emotions, with our feelings. And don't forget, Friday, Venus is in a water sign, and it's in that challenging T-square with Jupiter and Saturn. So there's something definitely going on. Now, whether it be within ourselves, by ourselves, you know, just on the emotional level, to where we're dealing with some sort of emotions that are overtaking us. You know, maybe we're purging something emotionally. Or again, it can play out with other people in our lives. And with it being the Knight of Cups, definitely could be with a significant relationship, partnership of a romantic nature. Now, it could potentially also bring someone new in, but I'm feeling here with this wave of energy, if it's bringing somebody new in, it's going to be like this real magnetic attraction, like this instant magnetic emotional attraction that you feel for this person. All right, so let's take a look at your special message card depending on your stone of choice. So here we're going to give the Angel Tarot cards a shuffle, and we're going to ask angels and archangels of the highest vibration of light and our guides and the Ascended Masters to come in, and we're looking for the Celestite people first. And this one keeps drawing my attention, so I'm going to pull this one for Celestite. Okay, another fire card, King of Fire. It says motivational, idealistic, ambitious, charismatic, focus, focus, focus. Communicate with vision and be a leader. And advice from someone creative. Okay, so I feel like this is energy. Well, it could be definitely a person coming in that helps to assist you. Someone mature, someone in a leadership position. Maybe they're helping with a project or in your career path in some way. But again, this is also energy within you. So this is telling you that you need to take more of a leadership stance. You need to have more courage and confidence in yourself. You need to take charge, move forward, make things happen. And just as it says, this is about focusing your energies. Focus, focus, focus. I also feel like there's something about communication involved here because of the Alchemy card and the Eight of Flames this week as well. So I feel like you're needing to initiate some sort of conversation or communication with someone. Okay, whether this be on a personal level, like within a personal relationship, but I feel like it's more career oriented, more to do with your life path in general. So it's some sort of thought or vision or idea that you have, and you need to kind of initiate a communication with someone else maybe who has more information for you, or someone else who can work with you on the idea or help you to unfold this idea or inspiration thought that you have in your head. So it's going to be somebody that helps you, I feel, in your career this week. All right, and then for those of you that chose the clear quartz point, which actually has a lot of encoded information in it, that one doesn't want to come out, so we're going to move on to another one here. And this one's calling my attention. Of course, a bunch want to come out, but I'm going to just pull one. Okay. All right, we have the Seven of Air for the people that chose the clear quartz crystal. And the Seven of Air says, plans that need revision, more going on than meets the eye, and perhaps poor timing. Now, usually this card is a challenge card of the mind, the ego mind, but I don't feel that it's really that negative. I just feel like, one, they're saying that what you've tried in the past that maybe hasn't unfolded or moved, or that hasn't had this change energy about it that you've wanted it to. I feel like it was just a sense of timing. So I feel like this card is coming into saying it's almost time. It's almost time. The timing is, very, very soon. Maybe this week, but maybe in the next, couple weeks following, as we move off this lunar eclipse, and now we have this Aries energy in motion, I feel like the timing is going to be better for whatever it was you might have been trying to do, whether it be a week, a month, 2 or 3 months ago. So know that that is definitely one of the messages. The other message is about revamping something. Now maybe that's why the timing element was off too. In the meantime, you were supposed to have been, and maybe even this week as well, you need to revamp something, redo something, rework something. You need to kind of go within and figure out why isn't this working, or why do I consistently have this pattern, or why am I having these feelings or emotions or these thoughts, and really kind of go within and take a look at that on a deeper level and maybe revamp that energy. Again, it might be something in the external life that you're needing to redo, if it's a creative project or something like that. But if this is just something that emotionally and mentally you're going through, you're needing to kind of revamp the internal energy of the ego, and you're needing to really kind of touch base or go in and connect with your higher soul self to kind of release that energy, revise that energy, realign it. And I'm actually drawn, it almost looks like there's a cross of rainbow light here in the middle. I don't know if that's just an illusion from the corner of my eye, but to me that cross of rainbow energy is saying realign yourself emotionally and mentally so that you can move forward in the best possible way. All right, and then for those of you that chose the mahogany obsidian, okay, asking for mahogany obsidian people, and this is, the Eight of Earth. And the Eight of Earth says, skilled work is rewarded, learning all there is to know about a topic, and going back to school. Now, the earth element is a grounding force, which is something we haven't had in this reading thus far. With all the cards we had in the general reading, all the special message cards, we haven't had any earth. And it's interesting because the mahogany obsidian, I told you, was a grounding force. So this is definitely an energy to where there's more grounding as far as your sense of empowerment. And I know that the card doesn't say anything about that, but to me the number 8 is about your own power, owning your own power. It's about your sense of inner authority and empowerment. It's also about money and finances too, from a numerological perspective. So there might be a grounding in of some sort of security coming in of a financial nature, or other security coming in from other personal resources, information or help or assistance from others. Again, a refocusing and a grounding of your own energy so that you're not so scattered or anxious. And also the traditional meaning of this Eight of Earth is saying that the more you learn, the more you gather information and allow yourself to learn, the more you're going to be able to make whatever it is you're working on, your creative projects, your career path, your destiny path, trying to create a lucrative investment or financial security, the more that's going to kind of settle in and come into place. So you're needing to do some sort of research. We have this wonderful little angel here, sitting down, quite relaxed, quite balanced, and a stack of books next to the angel. And so this angel is doing some sort of, research to gather more details, to gather more information, to learn something new so that it will aid them in creating this sense of security that they're looking for. And that's going to be what's going to aid you in this week as well. So a quick announcement here, just to remind everybody that March 23rd, which is the full moon lunar eclipse, is also the day that my interview with MG Productions for Peace, again, that's MG Productions for Peace, with Marcella comes out. So please look for on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook pages the interview that I have done with this production company. I'm just very excited to be working with this company and these wonderful people that are involved with the company. It's to help to bring more information to humanity, more information that's going to help with your evolution and growth, that's going to help you with understanding what's going on in the world or on the planet or with people, and how things are changing. And I'm, again, just very honored to have been asked by them to do this interview and potentially some future interviews. So just wanted to throw that out as a reminder. I want to send you all much love and light. I want to send you all many, many blessings. Have a wonderful full moon lunar eclipse kind of powerful week there ahead. And don't forget to look for the April monthly reading, which will be coming up in about another week or so. So many blessings to all of you. Love and light.